In the heart of bustling New York City, nestled between towering skyscrapers and neon-lit advertisements, lay the inconspicuous building that housed Dr. Evelyn Mercer's state-of-the-art veterinary clinic. The clinic was a sanctuary for Earth's most exotic creatures, and Dr. Mercer was known far and wide for her remarkable ability to diagnose and heal animals that baffled other veterinarians. Her reputation for solving the unsolvable had caught the attention of clients from across the globe. One evening, while Dr. Mercer was examining a particularly feisty chameleon whose scales changed colors more rapidly than usual, her assistant interrupted with an urgent tone. "Dr. Mercer, you need to see this," she said, holding out a sleek, metallic device that was blinking and vibrating with an incoming transmission. Puzzled, Evelyn took the device and activated the screen. The message that appeared was unlike anything she had ever seen. It was encrypted in a complex cipher, hinting at its interstellar origin. After a few moments of decryption, a holographic image of a blue-skinned alien with shimmering silver eyes appeared before her. The alien introduced itself as Ambassador Threx of the Intergalactic Council, speaking in a calm but desperate tone. "Ambassador Threx, how can I assist you?" Evelyn asked, her curiosity piqued. "Dr. Mercer, we have observed your work from afar, and are in dire need of your unique skills. The Xerixian Hydra, a creature of immense power and importance to our galaxy, is suffering from an unknown ailment. It is the guardian of our planet Xerixia, and its health directly impacts our world's stability," Threx explained. His voice conveyed an urgency that resonated with the gravity of the situation. "We have tried everything, but none of our methods or experts have succeeded. You are our last hope." Evelyn was stunned. Her work had taken her to many places and presented her with numerous challenges, but nothing of this cosmic scale. The thought of venturing into space to treat an alien creature was both exhilarating and terrifying. "Can you provide me with any data you have on the Hydra?" she inquired, her mind already racing through the possibilities and dangers. "Of course, Dr. Mercer. We will transmit all relevant information and arrange for your transport. A spacecraft, the Celestial Arrow, is being prepared to fetch you. Will you help us?" Threx asked, his eyes pleading. Evelyn took a deep breath, considering the magnitude of the request. Her passion for helping animals had always driven her decisions, and this was no ordinary call for help. It was a call to save a creature that was pivotal to the balance of an entire world. "Yes, Ambassador, I will help," she affirmed, her voice resolute. "Thank you, Dr. Mercer. You do not know how much this means to our people and to the galaxy. We await your arrival with bated breath," Threx replied, his relief palpable even through the hologram. As the transmission ended, Evelyn turned to her assistant, a smile slowly spreading across her face mixed with a hint of nervous excitement. "Looks like we're going to space," she said. The rest of the evening was a blur of preparations. Evelyn pored over the data sent by the Intergalactic Council, familiarizing herself with the biology of the Xerixian Hydra, a creature whose like she had never seen before. She packed her most advanced medical equipment, preparing for every conceivable challenge she might face. With her heart pounding with anticipation and determination, Dr. Evelyn Mercer stepped out of her clinic later that night, looking up at the stars. Little did she know, her adventure was just beginning. The night was clear and starry as Dr. Evelyn Mercer stepped onto the launch platform where the Celestial Arrow was docked. The ship itself was a marvel of interstellar engineering, sleek and silent, with a hull that shimmered like a mirage against the dark sky. It was designed for speed and comfort, equipped to bridge star systems in what would feel like mere hours. Captain Ara Tsang, a seasoned pilot from the Galactic Alliance, greeted Evelyn warmly. "Welcome aboard, Dr. Mercer. We've been briefed about your mission. The Hydra is vital to the balance of our galaxy, and we're here to ensure you arrive safely on Xerixia." Evelyn nodded, her eyes wide with a mix of awe and nervousness as she followed the captain onto the ship. The interior of the Celestial Arrow was just as impressive as its exterior, with corridors lined with luminescent panels and view screens displaying star maps and other data. Once the introductions were made and Evelyn was shown to her quarters, the ship began its ascent. The initial thrust was gentle, a testament to the advanced technology of the ship, which made space travel as routine as air travel back on Earth. During the voyage, Evelyn spent her time in the ship's extensive library, diving deep into the archives about Xerixian wildlife and, more specifically, about the Xerixian Hydra. The creature was a central figure in Xerixian mythology, revered not only for its power, but also for its wisdom. It was said to be as old as the planet itself, its birth tied to the creation of Xerixia. The ship's science officer, a keen-eyed Andromedan named Jorex, joined her in her research. "The Hydra's biology is fascinating," Jorex remarked, as they examined a hologram showing the creature's cellular structure. "Its regenerative abilities are far beyond anything we've seen, but something is inhibiting its cellular regeneration. It's as if the very essence of its vitality is being sapped away." Evelyn appreciated the insight. "Do we have any theories on what could be causing this?" she asked, her brow furrowed in concentration. "We suspect it might be microbial or perhaps even viral, but nothing in our databases matches the symptoms exactly," Jorex replied, adjusting the hologram to highlight affected areas. "Your expertise will be crucial in identifying and counteracting the cause." As the hours turned into days, the celestial arrow approached Xerixia. The planet was a jewel in space, with swirling blue oceans and vast green continents. As they descended into the atmosphere, Evelyn could see the weather systems were in turmoil, with storms raging across the planet, a visual testament to the Hydra's failing health. Captain Tsang announced their arrival with a mixture of relief and urgency. "We're making our final approach to the Xerixian capital. The Council has prepared a landing site near the Hydra's sanctuary. They're eager to meet you, Dr. Mercer." Evelyn gathered her medical kits, filled with both her usual tools and some specialized equipment she'd brought for treating non-terrestrial life forms. As the ship landed and the hatch opened, she took her first steps on an alien world, the air crisp and tinged with a hint of ozone. She was met by a delegation of Xerixians, their skin shimmering subtly under the planet's twin suns. The leading figure stepped forward, introducing himself as Minister Silor, the head of planetary affairs. "Dr. Mercer, we are in your debt for coming to our aid," Minister Silor said, his voice solemn. "The Hydra is just beyond this point. Please follow me." With a deep breath, Evelyn followed, ready to face the galaxy's most feared and revered creature, her mind racing with potential solutions. She was no longer just a veterinarian from Earth. She was a beacon of hope for an entire world. Minister Silor led Dr. Evelyn Mercer through the lush, verdant landscape of Xerixia. The path wound through towering trees with iridescent leaves, under which bizarre and colorful creatures scuttled and fluttered, adding to the alien beauty of the planet. Yet the sense of urgency was palpable as they made their way to the sanctuary of the Xerixian Hydra. As they approached a large, naturally formed enclosure made of intertwined tree trunks and thick vines, Evelyn could sense the shift in the atmosphere. The air felt charged, heavy with a kind of solemnity. The enclosure was surrounded by Xerixian guards and scientists, all of whom looked anxious and worn from their efforts to stabilize their planet's guardian. Minister Silor paused at the entrance, his expression grave. "Dr. Mercer, what lies beyond this gate is considered sacred to us. The Hydra is not just a creature. It is a part of Xerixia's soul. Its sickness has caused the environmental chaos you see, the storms, the seismic activity. It's all connected." Evelyn nodded, understanding the weight of her mission. She stepped through the gate and caught her first glimpse of the Xerixian Hydra. It was a breathtaking sight. The creature was enormous, easily the size of a large building, with multiple heads that rose like serpentine towers. Each head bore a crown of vibrant, feather-like scales, although now they were dulled and lifeless. The Hydra's eyes were half closed, its breaths shallow and labored. The team of Xerixian veterinarians and biologists approached, their faces marked with relief and hope upon seeing Evelyn. Dr. Leuven, the chief veterinarian, stepped forward with a data tablet in hand. "Dr. Mercer, we've done what we can to stabilize the Hydra, but its condition continues to deteriorate. Here is all the data we have collected." Evelyn took the tablet, quickly scrolling through the charts and notes. The creature's symptoms were indeed bizarre. Rapid degeneration of regenerative tissue, unexplained lethargy, and a drop in vital energy levels. It was unlike anything she had dealt with before. Turning to Dr. Leuven, she asked, "Have there been any changes in its environment or diet that coincided with the onset of these symptoms?" Dr. Leuven shook his head. "Nothing significant. However, we noticed the symptoms began shortly after a meteor shower 2 months ago. We thought it might be coincidental, but now—" Evelyn pondered this new information. "A meteor shower? It's possible it brought something with it, maybe a pathogen or a toxin that we're not equipped to detect with standard tests. We should consider that angle." She approached the Hydra cautiously, her presence meek yet confident. As she neared, one of the Hydra's heads weakly lifted, its eyes meeting hers. There was a moment of connection, an unspoken understanding that she was there to help. "Let's start by taking some fresh samples," Evelyn suggested, preparing her equipment for a thorough examination. "I need blood, tissue, and anything else you've noticed that's abnormal. We'll test for everything, no matter how unlikely it seems." The Zerixians watched in awe as Evelyn worked, her hands steady, and her focus absolute. She collected samples with the precision of a seasoned professional, her movements respectful and careful not to cause the Hydra any more stress. As the suns began to set, casting a golden light over the sanctuary, Evelyn felt the weight of the task ahead. She was on an alien planet, trying to save a creature of mythic importance, a creature whose life was intertwined with the fate of an entire world. As she packed away her last vial of samples, Evelyn looked up at the Hydra, promising silently that she would do everything in her power to restore its health. The journey ahead was uncertain, but her resolve was firm. She was not just fighting for the life of a creature. She was fighting for the life of Zerixia itself. Back in the makeshift laboratory set up within the confines of the Zerixian sanctuary, Dr. Evelyn Mercer, surrounded by advanced diagnostic equipment provided by both Earth and Zerixian technology, began the meticulous process of analyzing the samples she had collected from the Hydra. The lab was a hub of activity, with Zerixian scientists and her assistant from Earth, who had traveled with her, collaborating closely. Screens displayed complex biochemical structures and data streamed in real time, providing a comprehensive view of the Hydra's physiological state. Evelyn focused intently on the blood samples under a high-powered microscope, enhanced to detect even the slightest anomalies at a molecular level. As she adjusted the settings, she noticed unusual microbial signatures, tiny, almost imperceptible foreign bodies that didn't match any known biological database entries from Earth or Zerixia. "Look at this," she called Dr. Leuven over, pointing at the shimmering, almost translucent shapes on the screen. "These aren't normal. See how they're interacting with the Hydra's cells? They're leeching off the energy produced during cellular regeneration." Dr. Leuven leaned in, his brow furrowed as he observed the activity. "Incredible," he muttered. "We've never seen anything like this. It could be extraterrestrial, perhaps brought here by the meteor shower you mentioned." Evelyn continued her examination, comparing the samples with the extensive libraries available to her. "I think we're dealing with a xenopathogen, alien in origin, which would explain why our initial tests couldn't identify it." The team ran further tests, isolating the pathogen and conducting various simulations to understand its properties and behavior better. Evelyn hypothesized that the organism thrived on the energy created by the Hydra's regenerative processes, essentially starving the creature from the inside out. With a clearer picture of the pathogen, Evelyn moved on to review the environmental data post-meteor shower. She and her team analyzed soil, air, and water samples from around the sanctuary, looking for traces of the same alien microbe. After hours of cross-referencing and data analysis, Evelyn sat back in her chair, exhausted yet exhilarated. "We've confirmed it. The pathogen is definitely alien and it's aggressive, but knowing what we're dealing with is half the battle." With a diagnosis in hand, the next step was to develop a treatment. Evelyn convened with the Zerixian medical team to brainstorm potential solutions. "We need something that targets the pathogen without harming the Hydra," she explained. "It's going to be a delicate balance, especially given the Hydra's unique biology." The discussion led to the Zerixian archives, where ancient texts and medical records were examined for anything that might provide insight or historical precedent. Surprisingly, a centuries-old account described a similar affliction in another mythical creature, treated with an extract from a native plant known for its potent medicinal properties. Evelyn was intrigued. "This plant, does it still exist? Can we get it?" "Yes, it grows in the deep jungles of Zurixia," Dr. Leuven replied. "It's rare and difficult to obtain, but it might be our best shot." Determined, Evelyn decided that their next course of action was clear. "Prepare an expedition. We're going into the jungle. If this plant can help produce a cure, then that's our next move. Time is something we don't have the luxury of wasting." As night fell on Zurixia, the lab buzzed with renewed energy and hope. Evelyn knew the challenges ahead would be daunting, but with the diagnosis confirmed, she felt one step closer to saving the Hydra and restoring balance to the planet. The journey into the Zurixian jungles would be perilous, but it was a necessary risk to save a creature intertwined with the fate of an entire world. The Zurixian jungle was as beautiful as it was daunting. Dr. Evelyn Mercer, alongside Dr. Leuven, and a small team of Zurixian botanists and guards, ventured deep into the heart of this lush, untamed wilderness. The foliage was thick, creating a vibrant canopy that filtered the sunlight into a kaleidoscope of greens and golds. The air was thick with the sounds of unseen creatures and the rich, earthy smell of damp vegetation. Evelyn carried with her a portable field kit, her eyes scanning the surroundings with both wonder and caution. The path, barely visible under the dense undergrowth, was treacherous. Roots and vines sprawled across the ground, creating natural snares. The team had to be vigilant, not only because of the difficult terrain, but also due to the potentially dangerous wildlife hidden in the underbrush. "Dr. Mercer, this way," called one of the Zurixian botanists, pointing towards a narrow clearing. "The plant we're looking for, the Cerathis herb, typically grows in these less dense areas, closer to natural light." As they pressed on, Evelyn learned more about the Cerathis herb from the botanists. It was known for its intense vitality, capable of surviving in harsh conditions and regenerating quickly if damaged. Its properties made it a prime candidate for synthesizing a treatment for the Hydra. After several hours of searching, the team finally came across a group of plants with luminescent blue leaves, tucked away in a sunlit patch. The Cerathis herb. Its leaves shimmered with a faint, almost mystical glow, pulsating gently as if breathing along with the jungle. Evelyn carefully approached the plant, taking note of its unique characteristics. "We need to collect as much as we can without harming the plant's ability to regenerate," she instructed, gently clipping leaves and placing them in her collection container. Suddenly, the ground trembled underfoot. The team froze, looking around as the rustling of foliage grew louder. A moment later, a massive Zurixian razorbeak emerged from the trees, its eyes fixed on the group. The creature, with its formidable beak and sharp talons, was clearly protective of its territory. The guards quickly stepped forward, creating a barrier between Evelyn and the razorbeak. Using non-lethal deterrents, they managed to steer the creature away without harm. Evelyn's heart raced, but her focus remained unshaken. "Let's finish up here. We've got what we came for." With enough samples secured, the team made their way back to the sanctuary. The journey back was quiet, the encounter with the razorbeak reminding them of the dangers that lay hidden in the beauty of the jungle. Back in the lab, Evelyn immediately set to work. Using the extracts from the Cerathis herb, she began the delicate process of synthesizing a potential antidote. The herb's regenerative properties provided a robust base for the treatment, but aligning it to work with the Hydra's complex biology was challenging. Through a series of controlled experiments, Evelyn adjusted the concentration and delivery method of the extract, testing it on cellular samples she had taken from the Hydra. After several adjustments and some tense moments waiting for reactions, she observed a positive response. The Hydra's cells began to regenerate at a normal pace when exposed to the treatment. Elation spread through the team as they reviewed the results. "It's working," Evelyn exclaimed, barely containing her excitement. "This could be it." Knowing the stakes, Evelyn prepared to administer the treatment to the Hydra. The success in the lab was promising, but the true test would be how the creature responded. As night descended on Zurixia once more, Evelyn readied herself for what would come next. Her mind was focused, aware of the hope her work carried not just for the Hydra, but for the entire planet. Under the pale light of Zerixia's twin moons, Dr. Evelyn Mercer worked tirelessly in the temporary lab erected next to the Hydra's sanctuary. The successful test results from the cellular samples had given her a beacon of hope, but translating this into a full-scale treatment for the Hydra was the real challenge. The lab buzzed with cautious optimism as Evelyn and her team prepared for the synthesis of the antidote on a larger scale. Evelyn had converted the active compounds extracted from the Cerathis herb into a potent serum. Her approach was meticulous, ensuring that each step of the synthesis preserved the integrity of the herb's medicinal properties while being potent enough to counteract the xenopathogen affecting the Hydra. Stabilizing the serum for injection is critical, Evelyn explained to Dr. Leuven as they calibrated the equipment. The Hydra's regenerative abilities are phenomenal, and if we introduce the serum correctly, it should bolster its natural defenses against the pathogen. They worked through the night using advanced biotechnological tools to enhance and stabilize the serum. The process involved intricate bioengineering techniques, which Evelyn handled with expert precision. She adjusted the pH levels, monitored the bioactivity of the solution, and conducted rapid decay tests to ensure long-term stability. As dawn approached, the final version of the serum was ready. It was a bright azure liquid, glowing slightly due to the luminescent properties of the Cerathis herb. Evelyn held up the vial, studying it against the light. "This is it," she murmured, a mix of determination and anxiety in her voice. The Zerixian Council, having been informed of the progress, arrived at the lab to observe the preparation. Minister Silor expressed his people's gratitude and apprehension. "Dr. Mercer, all of Zerixia watches and hopes. Your work could change the fate of our world." Evelyn nodded, aware of the monumental pressure. "We've done everything possible to ensure this will work. The next step is to administer it to the Hydra and monitor the response closely." The team prepared for the treatment process. Evelyn loaded the serum into a specialized delivery system designed to administer the dose safely to the Hydra. Given the creature's size and the nature of its affliction, precision was crucial. Accompanied by Dr. Leuven and a team of Zerixian medical experts, Evelyn approached the Hydra. The creature lay weakly in its enclosure, its breaths shallow and slow. Despite its weakened state, the sheer size and presence of the Hydra were overwhelming. Evelyn's hand was steady as she set up the injection mechanism, her focus complete. "We're ready," she announced, and with a nod from her team, she initiated the serum delivery. The serum flowed through the delivery system, entering the Hydra's bloodstream. The team waited in tense silence, watching for any sign of adverse reactions or, hopefully, signs of recovery. Minutes ticked by slowly. At first, there was no visible change, but then, gradually, the Hydra's breathing deepened. One of its many heads stirred, lifting slightly off the ground, and its eyes blinked open, showing a flicker of renewed life. Evelyn and the team monitored the Hydra's vital signs, which began to stabilize and strengthen. "It's responding," she said, relief washing over her face. "The serum is working, its energy levels are improving, and cellular regeneration is resuming at normal levels." The Zerixians around her exchanged looks of amazement and joy. Minister Silor approached Evelyn, his eyes gleaming with tears of relief. "Dr. Mercer, you've done it. You've given us hope." As the sun rose over Zerixia, casting a warm glow over the sanctuary, Evelyn felt a profound connection to the alien world she had come to save. There was still much to do, monitoring the Hydra's recovery and ensuring the stability of the cure. But for now, she allowed herself a moment to bask in the success of her efforts, a testament to her dedication and the collaborative spirit of intergalactic cooperation. As the early rays of Zerixia's twin sun spilled over the horizon, bathing the sanctuary in a warm, golden light, Dr. Evelyn Mercer and her team continued to closely monitor the Hydra's recovery. The majestic creature showed signs of improvement, each of its heads lifting more frequently, and its eyes gaining the clarity and alertness that had been missing. The atmosphere around the sanctuary was electric, filled with a cautious but growing optimism. The Zerixian scientists, who had been tense with worry for months, now moved with a newfound vigor, their data pads filling up with positive graphs and notes. Evelyn, although relieved, remained vigilant. She reviewed the Hydra's vital statistics constantly, ensuring that every positive change was documented and analyzed. It's crucial we track every aspect of its recovery. We need to understand how the serum is facilitating the regeneration processes, she explained to Dr. Leuven, who was equally invested in every detail. As they observed, the Hydra began to slowly rise, its massive body supported by its strengthening limbs. Its scales, which had been dull and lifeless, started to shimmer again with their natural iridescent sheen. The Zerixians around her gasped and murmured in awe as the creature tested its newfound strength, a sight that had seemed almost impossible weeks ago. Evelyn organized a structured regimen of follow-up treatments to ensure the Hydra's full recovery. She mixed the subsequent doses of the serum with an enriched nutrient blend, enhancing the creature's overall health and vitality. Continuous monitoring and these follow-up treatments are essential. We must ensure there's no relapse or resistance developed against the serum, she instructed the team. The news of the Hydra's recovery spread quickly across Zerixia, and soon, news crews from various parts of the galaxy arrived at the sanctuary. The story of a human veterinarian who had saved a creature of immense importance to the Zerixian culture had captured the imagination of many across the stars. Minister Sylor invited Evelyn to address the Intergalactic Council, a rare honor for an Earthling. In front of the assembly, she shared her findings and the innovative treatment approach that had led to the Hydra's recovery. Her speech was met with applause and admiration, with many noting the importance of collaboration and open-mindedness in galactic affairs. After the council meeting, Evelyn returned to the sanctuary to continue her work. The bond that she had formed with the Hydra during the treatment was evident. The creature responded to her presence with a gentle nudge of its head, an act of acknowledgement and trust that moved her deeply. As the recovery process stabilized, Evelyn took a moment to step outside the lab and look up at the vast Zerixian sky. She thought about Earth, her clinic, and the simple life she had temporarily left behind. However, this extraordinary journey had changed her, broadening her perspective on life, medicine, and the interconnectedness of all beings. That evening, as she watched one of the Hydra's heads playfully splashing in a nearby lake, Evelyn felt a profound sense of accomplishment and unity. She realized that her actions had not only saved a creature's life, but had also preserved the balance of an entire world. This experience had deepened her commitment to her work, expanding her practice beyond the confines of her planet. In the sanctuary, surrounded by the grateful Zerixians and their revered creature, Evelyn knew that this adventure would forever be a defining moment in her career, a testament to the power of hope, science, and compassion across the galaxies. As the Zerixian Hydra regained its strength, the ecological balance of the planet began to show remarkable improvements. The once violent and unpredictable storms started to subside, and the seismic activities that had threatened Zerixia's civilizations calmed. It was as though the planet itself breathed a sigh of relief, its heartbeat synchronizing once again with the rhythmic vitality of its guardian. In the sanctuary, Dr. Evelyn Mercer watched these transformations with a blend of professional satisfaction and personal awe. Every report that came in seemed to confirm that the Hydra's recovery was bringing stability back to Zerixia. The local fauna, which had begun to exhibit signs of stress and decline, were now thriving once more, their numbers steadily increasing as the natural order was restored. The Zerixians, who had lived under the shadow of impending natural disasters, celebrated the return of their guardian's health with festivals and ceremonies. Evelyn was often invited as a guest of honor, where she was showered with expressions of gratitude and traditional Zerixian gifts. Despite the festivities, her mind often wandered back to the intricate balance of life and how deeply intertwined the Hydra was with the well-being of Zerixia. One afternoon, as she walked through a recovering forest near the sanctuary, Minister Sylor joined her. "Dr. Mercer, your work here has given us more than just the life of the Hydra," he said, his voice filled with deep gratitude. You've shown us the fragile links between all living things and the impact one creature can have on an entire planet." Evelyn nodded, reflecting on his words. "It's a lesson about balance and responsibilities," she replied. "On Earth, we too struggle with how our actions affect our world. Seeing the change here, it's inspiring. It shows that recovery and restoration are possible with the right efforts." Minister Sylor smiled. "And to think the solution came from an off-worlder. Perhaps there's more we can learn from each other, more ways our worlds can help one another." As the days passed, Evelyn's mission on Zerixia reached its natural conclusion. The Hydra was not only surviving but thriving, displaying behaviors and vitality that had not been observed in decades. The creature's recovery had also helped to stabilize the planet's ecosystems, reaffirming its role as a keystone species. Before her departure, the Zerixian Council organized a formal ceremony to commemorate Evelyn's contributions. At the event, she was awarded the Medal of Harmony, a high honor rarely bestowed upon non-Zerixians. The medal was a symbol of peace and unity, crafted from Zerixia's rare crystalline minerals, which shimmered with a light reminiscent of the planet's dual suns. As Evelyn stood before the Council and the citizens of Zerixia, she felt a profound connection to the galaxy at large. "This experience has taught me that the health of one affects the health of all," she addressed the gathering. "What happens on Zerixia matters not just to Zerixians, but to all of us in this interconnected universe." With her mission complete, Evelyn prepared to return to Earth, her heart full of memories and her mind buzzing with ideas on how to apply what she had learned to her work back home. The Zerixian scientists, inspired by her methods, expressed interest in continued collaboration, proposing an exchange of knowledge and research that would benefit both worlds. As the celestial arrow was readied for departure, Evelyn took one last look at the thriving sanctuary. She knew she was leaving Zerixia better than she had found it, but more importantly, she was returning home with a new understanding of her place in the cosmos, forever changed by the alien world that had embraced her so warmly. As the sleek starship Celestial Arrow prepared for departure, Dr. Evelyn Mercer stood at the viewing deck, gazing down at the lush landscapes of Zerixia. The planet, now stable and vibrant thanks to the restored health of the Zerixian Hydra, seemed to sparkle under the light of its twin suns. The recent weeks had been a whirlwind of scientific breakthroughs, cultural exchanges, and personal revelations. Evelyn felt a mixture of satisfaction and nostalgia. She was ready to go home, yet part of her would always remain with the planet she had helped save. The journey back to Earth was quiet, giving Evelyn ample time to reflect on her extraordinary adventure. She organized her research notes and medical data, planning to share her findings with the global veterinary community. The knowledge gained from treating the Hydra could revolutionize how Earth handled its own ecological and biological challenges. Throughout the trip, Evelyn had several communications with Earth. She was briefed on the situations awaiting her at her clinic, and to her surprise, she found herself becoming a bit of a celebrity. News of her interstellar veterinary success had spread, and requests for interviews and talks at scientific conferences were already pouring in. Upon her arrival, Evelyn was greeted with a hero's welcome. Her family, friends, and colleagues hosted a small ceremony to celebrate her safe return and her groundbreaking work. As she shared stories of Zerixia's exotic landscapes and the majestic Hydra, her audience was captivated. It was clear that Evelyn had not only made a significant impact on another world, but had also inspired those around her to think beyond the confines of Earth. Evelyn's life post-Zerixia was busier than ever. She took part in several collaborations with international ecological and zoological societies, using her insights from Zerixia to advocate for sustainable practices and the protection of Earth's own keystone species. The intergalactic exchange of knowledge continued to flourish, with Zerixian scientists visiting Earth to learn more about terrestrial ecology and conservation efforts. Despite the flurry of her newfound fame and responsibilities, Evelyn made time to return to her clinic, where her passion for veterinary medicine had begun. There, amid the everyday challenges of caring for Earth's creatures, she found peace and purpose. Her experience with the Hydra had deepened her understanding and compassion, qualities that made her even more effective and revered in her field. In the quiet moments between her duties, Evelyn often found herself looking up at the stars, thinking about the Hydra and the deep bond they had formed. She realized that her journey had not just been about saving a creature and stabilizing a planet. It had also been about discovering the interconnectedness of all life, whether on Earth or light years away. The legacy of her interstellar mission lived on, not just in the academic papers and conference halls, but in the improved lives of the animals she treated and the inspired minds of those who heard her story. Evelyn Mercer had become more than a veterinarian. She was a bridge between worlds, a symbol of hope and proof that compassion and curiosity could indeed change the universe. As the sun set over her home city, casting a golden glow that seemed to echo the light of Xerixia's suns, Evelyn felt a profound sense of belonging and purpose. The universe was vast, and her journey was far from over, but she knew she was exactly where she needed to be, ready for whatever call for help the stars might send her next.